Welcome to Crossroads and Callings. Today, we have a guest who embodies what it means to persevere and lead with purpose. Please join me in welcoming Hasani Henderson to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I will say this. I think highly of you because I've seen you doing kind of the hard work when it comes to diversity and inclusion, when it comes to the tech industry. I'm also a Black techie. And you did a lot with just building events to create opportunities to network with other Black techies, because many of us, like myself, the majority of my career was one-of-one.
Yep.
And I had no concept of who else was out there that was in project management, in tech, that looked like me.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for creating like those spaces.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I feel like it was pretty much the same thing, right? I think being in tech is already such a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
And then when you're in these rooms and you don't see anyone who looks like yourself, or you may see people who look like you, but they don't really care about the community the way you do, or care about culture the way you do. So it's sobering to be in a space where you feel like you made it in a bit, but you don't really feel like you belong and you're welcome because you don't see anybody like you with positions that you aspire to be in.
Yeah, we're going to have a great conversation, Hasani. We have a lot to unpack because I think we have more in common than we really knew that we did. So Crossroads and Callings, it starts now. Hasani, just to give you a bit of background about Hasani, he is a seasoned sales leader. He has worked with very notable companies such as BET Networks, Pandora, and most recently LinkedIn. And as I shared earlier, he is a fierce advocate for diversity within Black tech, within tech in general, and just creating spaces for all of us, like people of color in general, to see each other and really just relate. And he's able to do that as an executive director of the Chicago Black Tech Leaders, which I did not know was a thing until I started going to your events. Yes. Do you want to just give a little bit of a commercial about like what that is for other people that are just like us looking for safe spaces?
Yes. So I think that one of the biggest things about being a young professional in Chicago is that there are so many of us, but we are very dispersed around industries, around companies, around the city in general. And when I first started, right out of college, I started at BET. And although I was at BET and I saw Black people all day at work, I would go to events and I would go to these mixers and networking happenings. And I felt like I was one of the few entry-level professionals in these spaces. And, I didn't have like a lot of mentorship. I didn't have a lot of people who I can look up to who I felt I wanted to emulate or be like in these spaces. So it kind of carried me throughout my career, where I would see a lot of organizations who were making really great strides, who were doing things just like what we're doing with Shy Black Tech Leaders. And I wanted to do things kind of similarly, but specifically for the tech space, because media entertainment, I feel like we had a lot of those type of organizations. And then BEST started an organization for tech leaders. And it was like pre-COVID. And after COVID, they stopped doing programming. And I was like, dang, I really like that program.
Yeah, left a gap, didn't it?
Yeah, I feel like after COVID, things kind of shifted. And me and some friends, some colleagues at LinkedIn, we were like, hey, we need to bring something back. I feel like we have great networks. We have people who want to be involved, who want to learn more about being in some of these industries, but we aren't seeing as much programming as we did pre-COVID.
Hmm.
So yeah, initially it was just me wanting to bring people together, bring resources, give community to folks who I feel like needed it, and now it's turned into a whole programming event.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a no, it's a thing, and it's a beautiful thing. Because like we discussed, outside of professional networks, like for me, it would be like National Black MBA. We also have
Hmm.
NSB, but those are not tech specific.
Yeah.
And my career is similar to you. I've always been one of one. I'm a black engineer, and you just get accustomed to just being by yourself.
Hmm.
Um, and it's very, like you said, it's very lonely. So I commend you for creating that space, even in COVID, because during COVID, you experienced an extreme loss.
Yeah.
So how, if you don't mind sharing, kind of like what that loss was, and then
Hmm.
how did still that desire to build community? How was that birth from that?
Yeah. So the loss that she's speaking of,
Yeah.
I lost my mother and my grandmother back to back um, during COVID times, or around them times. So November 2020, I lost my grandmother, which was pretty unexpected.
Yeah.
Um, but during that time, when I lost my grandmother, my mom was already in the hospital. So my mom was struggling with uh, a myriad of different health issues, but she was diagnosed with stage 4 esophagus cancer uh, back in September 2020.
Mm.
We had known that something was going on, but she had been to all these doctors. They couldn't figure out what was happening. Lost uh, her, she lost her ability to walk, so she was paralyzed from the waist down for some time. They couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
So we finally figured it out that she had the cancer, and it started to go to other parts of her body, and it was pinching her nerve in her spine. All that to say. So as we were kind of preparing for the worst with my mom, my grandmother, her mother, who was in pretty good health,
Mm.
didn't really expect her to pass. She ended up passing in November. So then I had to break the news to my mom that
Yeah.
her mother had passed while she was also, kind of in a place of transitioning. So it was extremely tough.
Yeah,
It
that's a
was,
lot happening. Were you going through that alone? And you were still working too.
mhm.
So were you alone and still employed and still kind of managing
Yes.
these things?
Yes. So it was probably one of the worst times of my life.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I tried to maintain and to stay positive, stay with community, and
Hmm.
be me, but it was very difficult because you know it was it was COVID, so we couldn't really be in space and in community the same way that I was used to. I couldn't really visit my grandmother in the
Yeah.
hospital because they had such strict regulations. And then I was working, and it was completely remote at the time. It was kind of like a hybrid at first, but as you know, we kind of got shifted to remote work. At the time, I was at Pandora Radio, Pandora Media,
Okay.
and I'm going to give some very, very honest transparency here.
Yeah.
As I was going through this, I told my supervisor, I told my sales reps who I worked with, and I don't feel like I was met with the compassion that I would have liked to,
Yeah.
and it was extremely hard because at the time I was gunning for a promotion, I was taking on more responsibility. Um, I had been shifted to some national global accounts, and I was really excited for that. But on the flip side, I was, caretaking for my mom,
Hmm.
and then my grandmother passed, and it just felt like when I told the team, they just didn't really care.
Yeah.
Or and at one point, I had gotten a negative review
During that
during this
time?
time. And to make things worse, I had gotten a negative review regarding accounts that I was covering for someone else. So these weren't even
Your
my
accounts.
accounts. And I had gotten a negative review around something that was outside of my control with accounts that weren't mine. On top of the fact that
You just lost
I
your
was dealing
grandma.
with I was
Yeah.
dealing with all these things. So after all that had happened, I had such a sour taste in my mouth. I'd already kind of decided that I was leaving Pandora, and that's when I started to look elsewhere. Started to kind of like float other job apps and kind of figure out what I wanted to do next, and that's what led me to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But no, it was terrible time, really bad time.
How did you, I mean, were you able to take some time off to like heal? Like, so the purpose of Crossroads and Callings is to give people kind of like some foundational how to's because grief is a part of life. You
Yeah,
lose people. But the goal is to not to be stuck in that. So you had an employer that was not supportive. You experienced two major losses, but you still need to maintain your livelihood and take care of yourself. Like, give us a timeline of between you being able to have like some time to heal and then even having the capacity and strength to keep searching for employment.
yeah. I think I maybe took a month off or so between. I don't. I honestly, it's kind of a blur.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that I started at LinkedIn June 21st, 2021. So it was like I'm easy. It's easy to remember because it was 21, 21.
Yeah.
But I lost my mom 2021 and that January 2021.
That of that same year.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think I stopped working at Pandora maybe April, May. So
Okay.
I would say maybe about a month or so. But I don't know if my grieving was random. It was it was very difficult to manage because I would get waves of grief and these moments where I would think of my mom or my grandmother, or I would think of something that we did or a smell, right? Or anything would just like hit you, right?
Yeah.
Hit me, and it would break me down in the most random of times.
Yeah.
Like with
Like for
friends, I'm just like having a good time, and then
yeah.
something just boom, and I'm like, I gotta go to the corner.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
need a
need to.
moment. Were your friends kind to you during this time? Were you able to articulate? Did you at least have a safe place? Because of
Mm,
course we understand that corporate environments don't deal well with
yeah,
our with emotion. Specifically, people emotions from people of color,
right.
black men, black women. Um, were those spaces eventually created for you outside of that sphere? So,
Yeah, I think that my friends were extremely supportive. I believe my friends kind of were like my family at the time, in a sense. I feel like
yeah.
I always say my friends are the family I chose or I choose. And during those moments, I wasn't extremely talkative, or I didn't communicate everything that I was going through at the time. I was also in a relationship which was probably not the best thing at the
Yeah,
time.
because you weren't in the best of places.
No. So
Yeah,
it was just a whole lot of trauma and a whole lot of trauma bonding.
yeah,
And we were in COVID. So it was a lot during those times. But I would say my friends definitely held me down. Shout out to them. But I didn't really know how to express all the things that I was going through.
yeah.
Um, it was really hard because I never learned how. But I did go to therapy, so
Okay.
I did get some help. I did get techniques. I had mental coaching,
Mm-hmm.
all these other things that were definitely more helpful for me
Mm-hmm.
during those times. Um, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I
Yeah.
was just trying to survive
No,
and
that's
stay
fair.
afloat. So yeah,
Plus, grief isn't fair, right?
yeah, it doesn't
Like
care.
it doesn't. It's not fair. It doesn't care. And every time you think that you have a handle on your emotions, like you said, it could be anything,
Hmm.
and it just jumps on you. It just. I'm glad your friends created that space for you, and that you understood that you didn't have the know-it-all to manage your emotions in
Yeah.
general, that you were able to at least go to therapy and
Hmm.
find those places. Um, so you said you were still working during this time. How are you maintaining at work? Because you started a new job, um, and the loss of your mother was still fresh. How did you kind of navigate? I need to start a new job. Are you an only child?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so
So
you have like older, younger siblings.
so I have older sibling and
Okay.
then two younger. But we during in this time frame,
Mm-hmm.
my youngest brother was actually living with my mother and my grandmother.
Okay.
So this is again a lot, but essentially I had got them all a place together because my mom, my grandma, and my uncle, um, they were kind of like caretakers for each other in a sense.
Yeah.
My uncle was my caretaker for my grandmother, and then my mom and my uncle kind of tag team with her, and then my uncle was supposed to be kind of like taking care of my mom a little bit as things started to progress. And my little brother, he's the baby of the family, and he was a teenager and he needed somewhere to live, so
Yeah. Yeah.
um, they all lived together in the same space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was to give some context to why I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
But so in that time frame, I was caretaking for essentially like four people.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so as I was doing that, I was trying my best to have a semblance of like a normal life
Mm-hmm.
and do all those things and
Yeah.
be out and everything like that.
Yeah.
But my younger brother was supposed to help out with the house, and then my little sister, who is a mother, she's a mother,
Mm-hmm.
so her priorities were, she has a kid,
Yeah.
but she was still being supportive in a sense. And my older brother would stop by sometimes, but a lot of the burden was just squarely on me.
Yes.
So it was just I was the guy
How did
for
you
this one.
shoulder it all? Because honey, that's a lot.
I don't. I
You
honestly,
can't.
I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
I
No,
feel,
that's fair. That it was a blur. You was just making it work.
yeah, and I feel like it was almost out of obligation. Like
Yeah.
if no one else can do it, somebody had to step up, and I kind of felt like I knew that would be me from the jump when we started to learn that she had health issues, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one taking her to the doctor, right? I'm the one making sure she got her prescription. I'm the one doing all those things. So it kind of continued to just be that way. And
Yeah.
I knew that as things progressed, I would be the person who had to take on the heaviest load of my siblings. But yeah, I feel like in the moments, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what needs to be done? How can I make sure that my mom is good? How can I make sure the household is taken care of? So I'm not even thinking about how much work, how
You're not thinking
much.
about the weight of it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
You
just
know,
thinking
that's
I got
fair.
to carry it. So
Yeah. Do you think because you were like co-creator of the Chicago Black Tech Leaders at around that same time too?
so
Did that come from the
Um,
grief or just looking for places to just breathe?
I don't. That's a great question because Shop Black Tech Leaders really started. I would say probably closer to 2022.
Okay.
I can't remember the first event that we did was a BHM mixer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we did an event with Cisco, which was the first official Black Tech Leaders event.
Yeah.
And I think that was like Black Heritage Month, Black History Month, like 2022, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. So I'm not sure if BTL came out of the
Grief,
grief
yeah.
because
Just
at
due to the
that point,
timeline.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was a little bit. It was a way, not a ways away, but it was some months
Mm-hmm.
after I had started at LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the move to LinkedIn definitely came from some of
The grief.
the grief and the just feeling that I needed a change of pace. I needed to step into a new space, and I wanted to feel like I was somewhere where I was valued
Yeah.
and somewhere that at least made me feel that I could make an impact and be of service and do right by my matriarchs in a
Yeah.
sense.
Thinking back to that season where I'm just going to call it kind of the weight of the world was on your
Mm-hmm.
shoulders. Now that aspect of the season is over, what kind of healthy coping mechanisms you think came from that you can probably share with someone else?
Yeah, I think that one of the healthiest coping mechanisms is crying.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
not a crier
Okay.
by no means.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually I'm like I'm a former crier. As a baby, I was bad. So I was the biggest crybaby in the world. If
Uh-huh.
I didn't get my way, I was busting a fit. I used to do the most.
Right.
And then as I kind of grew up, I just I I can count how many times I've cried in like the past like 10 years.
Okay.
So like by no means am I a crier at this stage of life, but I felt the release was extremely cathartic
Yeah. And
and
necessary, maybe.
extremely necessary
Yeah.
and random.
Mm-hmm.
I have crazy stories of me just bursting out in tears in
Mm-hmm.
random moments around friends by myself when the grief just hit me.
Yeah.
But it was my body telling me that I needed to let go and
Y-
just let something out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if I didn't realize I was holding so much in, I think your body has a way of telling you when you need to take a break or slow down or
Yeah.
let go. So,
I feel like when it comes to emotions, when you keep them bottled, if you don't give them this time and space to release,
hmm
then it will take it.
yeah,
It's almost like any other emotion, stress, fatigue. If you don't give your body, for me, if I don't give it sleep,
hmm
it will take sleep
yeah,
in the most inopportune times. And I feel like grief is no different.
yes,
I have experienced that, um, where it would just hop on you, and if you do not cry when it tells you to cry, it will embarrass you.
hmm
Yeah, and I'm not. You don't have to share any of those stories if you
no,
don't want
it's
to.
okay.
Yeah, because I get it. But you are a black man, and there's a lot of preconceived notions of strength
mm,
as it relates to showing emotion and crying. How did you kind of navigate what people are expecting of you as caretaker
yeah,
and responsible sibling or whatever the case may be? Because there clearly is a lot of responsibility on you, but yet you needed that space to release and cry. Like, how did you navigate people's perceptions or even your
mm,
perception of yourself? Like, I'm strong. Like, I ain't supposed to be crying. I'm supposed to be stronger
yeah.
than this, but then still give your nervous system
hmm
really what it needed.
Honestly, I didn't navigate it very well at all.
No, no,
That's
that's
why
fair. Let's I mean, let's talk about it because
and
we don't all have it all the
yeah,
time.
and this is why I was crying in random inopportune times
Yeah.
because I wasn't really giving I wasn't giving myself the space and time to let go of the emotions and the, to this day I still have extreme amounts of guilt around how my mom and my grandmother passed. And
Why is that? Because it really wasn't that's it wasn't your fault that they
uh,
were sick.
not so no,
Okay.
and the fault isn't with them becoming ill or the what happened to them.
Yeah.
It's I guess the response and how I could have shown up better. So I think about how my grandmother passed. Had I been more active, more present, had that been able to be prevented, right? With my mother, right? If I had seen signs earlier, if I had made the phone call
Mm.
before, had I again like been in this space more, because I was at one time I was going over to the house
Mhm.
2, 3 times a week to check in, to make sure that everybody was good, to make sure that the household was taken care of.
Yeah.
And then as I felt like things were, getting better, I would scale back, right?
Right.
Um, that scaling back even makes me feel like I should have continued to be on top of it.
I don't think
Um,
that's fair to yourself, Hasani. I feel like I want you to give yourself grace to know that you did the best that you could in the time that you could do it. Like that's not fair, especially since it wasn't just on you. You have
mhm.
like other siblings. You had a younger brother that was in the house. You had an uncle that was in the house. Um, I want you to give yourself some grace and not shoulder that because you you did the best. Like that was what you. I'm the same way. With my grandparents, I'm serious. They're older, and when things happen, you are around more. Like if
Mhm.
they fall or have a stroke, you are around more. But
Mhm.
then when you feel like they got it, plus I don't care what anyone says, raising your elders is the hardest process because old people don't listen. They
They
don't.
stuck in their
They
ways.
stuck
They
in their ways.
stubborn.
You can tell them, take your blood pressure meds. I don't take it when I feel like it's only so much that they even allow you to do. Because even in showing up, and say you showed up more,
Mhm.
they're not always honest
Mhm.
about how they feeling. They don't always tell you what's hurting.
Yeah.
So just know that you did what you could do. That's
Yeah.
I just want to free you because that's just not fair to be like I could it wasn't like you weren't there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean,
give yourself some grace. Like I
I,
want you to do
I
that.
appreciate that. I
Yeah.
do. Like I said, I've talked to therapists and like I said, coaching and everything about it. It's just as much as I know that,
Yeah.
it's still just hard thinking back and looking at the situation and not feeling like you could do more,
Yeah, I
right?
understand.
And I don't. I'm not saying that the guilt is as heavy as it once was,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always that like that that little something in the back of your mind, with my mind that says, you may have been able to at least extend their lives, right? Like you may have at least been able to get a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think I get more guilt from not learning more from them, right?
Yeah.
Not asking more questions when I had time to, when they were of clear mind. My mom also suffered from
Mm-hmm.
dementia, and then my grandmother had Alzheimer's.
What did you
So,
feel like you missed out on learning?
oh, I still don't know so much about my family.
Yeah.
It's so much that was just lost with my mom, my grandma, um, and then about me. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm adopted.
Oh, okay.
Um, all of us are. all of my siblings and I,
Mm-hmm.
we're all adopted. My mom kind of raised us in a single parent household for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So from being adopted, there are questions where sometimes I wonder now, like, um, did my parents have health issues?
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Sometimes my memory be slipping, and I'm like, should I look into this?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I get it. I get it.
Moments like that
Mm-hmm.
is something I'll think about sometimes. And then, as far as even my adoptive family,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people I don't know in
Mm-hmm.
my family, and I'm not saying it just stopped with my grandma and my mom, but I feel like a lot of the knowledge of some of the family that we aren't privy to in the immediate circle is gone, and I
Yeah.
don't even know where to start to try to get it back. Sometimes
Is your uncle still around?
my uncle passed not too far after my mom and my grandma, so he
Oh, I'm sorry, Hasani.
yeah,
Yeah.
and again I put him in a home, assisted living facility, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was a functional alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So that also is again, I'm giving you it's a lot here to unpack.
There is a lot to unpack.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, he was a functional alcoholic. That's another part of the guilt layer of guilt
yeah.
because he was the caretaker and like legal caretaker. So like he was getting paid to caretake for my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
But part of the reason why she passed was because he wasn't doing his job in a
I
sense.
understand.
So then he, passed maybe a year or so after my mom. Um, and it was just, it's
One after the other.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Tell me your comeback story because I would hate to no, unpack all your traumas and
Yeah,
leave you
yeah.
there because that's not what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
But you are still standing.
Yeah.
Um, and it takes a lot of strength to do that after suffering such extreme loss back to
Mm-hmm.
back. And it's still, I feel from a crossroads moment standpoint, you're still navigating that. Um, how are you coming out of this? Because you got dressed, you look nice, you got
Thank
hair.
you. You
So
as well.
thank you. So there's obviously something that has happened to keep to continue pushing you to continue like moving forward
Mm-hmm.
in life.
Yeah.
What is that?
Honestly, I guess I'm still writing my comeback story. I feel
Yeah.
like um, the comeback story will continue to be written until I pass. I feel
Hmm.
like my entire life and the legacy and the impact that I leave behind is the culmination of the comeback story.
Okay.
I think that some of the ways that I have, I guess, started that comeback story is by just being more present.
Mm.
Um, I feel like some of the things that I've learned from them passing is to be a better friend, be a better partner, be a better listener, ask questions. So it's like I feel like I've just become a better person
Yeah.
from them leaving, and then like you said, I'm still learning how to give myself grace. I'm still learning how to rest. I'm learning how to be okay with doing nothing. This is
Hmm.
probably the last few years is probably the most I've not done 5 things at once.
Wow.
And then even with that, it's still like I'm still doing a lot in comparison to others. That's subjective, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like those are some of like the ways I've kind of start coming back, or more so finding more of myself because I feel like comeback means that where I was before was like a good place. And I feel like as opposed to me necessarily coming back, it's more so just like identifying ways to improve and being a better me, a better version of myself than I was before the losses.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, so what I'm hearing is you're practicing intentionality,
Mm-hmm.
you're learning rest, and that's hard for someone that had as much responsibility as
Mm-hmm.
you. But then you're also actively trying to practice grace. And just knowing those things, that's the beginning of like coming out and being
Yeah.
healthier and showing up as a better you, just being aware of what it is that you need.
Yeah.
And you're building your foundation. You're building that. And that's a fair place to be. That's the right place to be, because at least you're not ignoring it
Mm-hmm.
anymore or pretending things didn't happen. Like, you're facing it head on, and that's commendable. I do want to ask you,
Thanks.
like, after, like, kind of before that season, that time in your life, and even now, did you have an idea of what, like, your purpose and calling was, or that you wanted it to be? Because it seems like between having these responsibilities and then having these extreme losses, it's really easy to like lose
Mm-hmm.
what your personal why is or
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
What was it initially, and has that changed?
Yeah. So this is it's a very timely question because I've recently had this conversation around what is like my purpose and like why do I feel like I was placed here, right? And before the losses and all that, I had started a nonprofit called the Take Back, and that nonprofit was centered around community. It was centered around building community in underserved neighborhoods. It was around providing resources and connections for children and folks who really needed them. So I'd already kind of known that I was placed here, and my purpose was around community building, around providing resources and improving the livelihood of other people.
Yeah.
But like you said, COVID happened. The take back, wasn't able to sustain itself over the course of COVID because it was a back to school festival. Was our big event. Marquee event was a back to school festival where we had thousands of kids come out and volunteers and sponsors, all those things. COVID wiped that off, right?
Yeah.
So then coming out of COVID, right, the things that happened, I always knew that my purpose, and I've always known it was centered around community and building it. So whether that be, building programming, whether that be building relationships, whether that be building resources, whatever that may be, I've always been really, really in the center of like building and something community driven.
Yeah.
And I think that now, I can clearly state that's my purpose. I'm very, very just strong in that, I guess, knowledge and that belief that I was placed here to be a builder, and it's going to be in various different facets. But I know that I'm really great at building and improving and enhancing and revising and helping and supporting others in some way, shape, or form.
Do you have something in the works now that you're working towards?
Yeah, so currently working on a couple things.
Okay. Not ready to announce, or?
It's not that it's not like not ready. It's just because it's still in such the beginning phases that I don't want to put it out there
I
and then
understand.
it doesn't pan out the way we
You
think.
know, I
But
understand. That's why I didn't tell anybody I was doing a podcast. So I had my first few episodes already recorded. So I understand the need to keep your
yes.
seeds that you plant
Hmm.
to yourself until they're
Yeah.
ready to sprout.
But definitely working on some things.
Mhm.
One of which is, still programming for the Chicago Black Tech Leaders.
Yeah,
So
because that is a community that you're actively
yeah.
building, which explains why you're so passionate.
Mm.
That even in spite of what has happened, that is your base. That is you always come back to base. And for you,
Yes.
that's being able to build community in whatever facet.
Right.
And I think that maybe that gives you the push,
Mm-hmm.
still having that to do energy. Like, okay, this has happened, but I still have a desire to build. Like, you don't lose,
Yeah.
that's your gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like I didn't answer this question earlier. You said like what gets you to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that once you find or once one understands what their purpose is,
Mhm.
it's more difficult to stray away from it than to do it. I feel like it's harder for me to not create experiences and programming and connect people. Like, I feel like it's a task to sit around and do nothing. So because it's harder for me to not do it, then I feel driven
Yeah.
to continue to do those type of things.
You had a block party, excuse me.
Yeah.
It was over the summer.
Yep. Mhm.
Explain what that was. Was that the first of many?
So the plan was to do more of them.
Okay. What was it called?
So it was called the Culture Connect.
Culture Connect.
Culture
Okay.
Connect, and it was actually out on it was like 51st Calumet in the why am I blanking on the words? In the Boxville community,
Okay.
and Boxville are shipping containers that have been transformed to Black and Brown owned businesses. So these shipping containers they have a multitude of different types of business, from food to clothing. I actually have on something that was from
Okay.
yeah. So Boxville is a community of Black-owned businesses out on the south side of Chicago, and we did a block party to bring awareness, exposure to the businesses, as well as exposure to one of the brands that one of my pro fights has called Fit Connect.
Okay.
So it's about training, obviously, really trying to nurture and empower folks to live a healthier lifestyle through fitness, but as well as being on the forefront of like tech and using technology to understand your fitness, understand your goals, and how do you kind of find a way to reach those goals utilizing what we have and the technology that we have means to. So
Yeah. So it's pretty much marrying both your desire to build community and support community and your technical
yep.
experience. And so you pretty much did a good job of combining all the things some of the things that make up you as both a professional and a person.
Yep.
You mentioned that you have more to come. How has the response been to like events such as that? Have they validated you, the community, and your purpose?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the best feelings and the most rewarding feelings in the world is seeing people enjoy something that you have created or something that you've worked very hard on. And every time I host something or plan something, the post surveys and the
Yeah.
feedback is what tells me I'm doing something right.
Yeah, the rave reviews, right?
So yeah, those have been. I'm really grateful for the community
Hmm.
for seeing it, being present, continuing to engage, continuing to show up, and continuing to collaborate. So I've had some really great organizations and companies and sponsors who
Hmm.
have trusted me with their visions and have trusted me to continue to do programming.
Hmm.
So I'm really grateful for them. And I'm not the only. We're not the only ones doing it. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm big on collaboration over competition.
Hmm.
I feel like we can all eat.
Yes,
We're
that's
all trying to do.
the same thing,
Yeah, we're just
really.
trying to help. We're all
Yeah.
trying to support as many people as we can. So there's no need for bickering, and it's all
Yeah.
about collaboration. So shout out to all the other orgs who are also doing similar work.
I do want to talk about the the second crossroad moments because we are both kind of in the same boat.
Hmm.
We both we're in tech. We both have been laid off.
Yep.
Currently navigating a layoff. How has that kind of impacted any of the work that you've
Hmm.
been doing? Because you're still with Black Tech Leaders,
Yep.
you're clearly still building community in different types of community in different ways, whether it be
Yes.
professional community or actually being in different communities and building programming. How has that layoff that you're in the midst of right now
Hmm.
either kind of taken away from that or
Hmm.
added to it now that again you're still in process yourself?
Yeah. So the layoff actually helped me.
Okay.
Um, this has been the first time that I haven't worked since I was 12 years old. So my entire life, I have worked,
Yeah.
if not 9 to 5, some semblance of a full time or part time to full time job. So taking a step back has given me, first of all, rest that I've never had,
Hmm.
but it's also helped me kind of think about what's really most important, what's next with, like I said, Shop Black Tech Leaders,
Hmm.
what's next with kind of other programming that I've been thinking about and kind of sitting on and figuring out how to bring it to life and to fruition. So um, it's weird because as we kind of navigate this space and you know while I am starting to actively pursue a new career and new opportunities, it's also in the back of my brain like, is this my time to start something? Is this supposed to
Yeah.
be the call to break away altogether? And then my brain go back to, but you got bills, my boy.
Yeah, that'll do
And
it.
while that sounds good and I get
Yeah.
it, I'm a strong believer that you can build wealth in your profession and you don't have to always have 3, 4 streams of income
Hmm.
to build wealth and build something strong for a foundation. So um, I'm kind of in between this in this little space of, do I keep want to do I want to keep the corporate grind, or am I to am I ready to kind of shift focus and do something else? But
Hmm.
right now,
Just figuring it
we're
out.
figuring it out.
In terms of, because I think we established that you are a builder and I see that. Like I
Mm.
feel that. Did you feel that that was represented at all when you were in corporate?
So, so this is I've always had the same belief, and
Hmm.
if I can do both, corporate, 9 to 5, um, sales,
Hmm.
project management, account management, whatever that may be, and still do the passion projects and do the building, the community building on the side, then I'm a happy camper.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been very fortunate that I've never truly had to sacrifice one for the other.
Okay.
And I think that's still kind of my recipe. I don't expect a huge corporate conglomerate, big company to care the same way that I do for
Mm-hmm.
the community and the same way I would want to build community. Now, if they are willing to endorse and sponsor and back my ideas and things that I've seen are really important, then that's great. But I don't put it on my professional career to continue to help me push forward the community stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a
A
vehicle.
means to an end.
It's like I'm gonna keep grinding out this corporate job
Mm-hmm.
as long as I can keep doing what I need to on the side. It'll fill up my cup.
Yeah.
It'll continue to pour into me, and I can continue to build it while doing getting to the money.
Have you considered reinstating your nonprofit?
So I have.
Okay.
I've
And
thought
now you
about
have the
it.
time too.
Yeah, so I've thought about it a lot. Now, the biggest, I won't even say drawback. The biggest challenge with that is, while I have the time, I don't have the time.
Mm.
And I say that because one thing I learned from doing it for 8 years is the amount of work that it takes to do it successfully and to do it the right way is uh, is not always great on the body and the mental and the spirit.
You mean creating the nonprofit from scratch? Yeah.
And running it completely. And I don't get paid at all. I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's now 30 plus, thinking about family, thinking
Mm-hmm.
about building for the future. Is I have to think about how do I build wealth and how do I build streams that will also bring money.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, to take back although I loved it dearly,
Mm-hmm.
um, I didn't crack the code to monetizing it. And monetizing it in a way where I felt like it was still keeping the core of what it was supposed to be, and that's community driven for underserved communities. And so it's been a thought,
Yeah.
but if it was to come back, it would look different because unfortunately, I have to. My time is very very valuable, and
Yeah.
putting so many hours a week into the nonprofit work without any ROI in
Mm-hmm.
terms of financial gain was,
Tough.
yeah, it's tough. It's not
Yeah.
sustainable as I try to build a family. It's
Yeah.
just,
I definitely understand because I understand that you want to have some type of nest egg as
mm-hmm,
you're building. How are you navigating the job market now?
mm-hmm.
Because it is a I was thinking of the words.
What's the word, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Challenging,
Um
difficult, tough.
it is all of the things. And I feel like we've had to be so creative,
Mhm,
or at least I've had to be so creative with even applying because you don't want to just apply blindly.
mhm.
Now you're in a black hole. I've had to be crafty.
Yep.
I've had to network. I've had to ask for referrals, and even that does not
Referrals aren't
guarantee
even guaranteed
at
anymore.
all. It used to be.
Used to be at least a phone screen.
At
Now
least
I'm not
not.
getting phone screens with referrals. I'm like,
Yes,
these are different
these
times.
are different times. I started promoting, as you know, the podcast
Hmm.
on LinkedIn, and I had a coffee chat. If people reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'm like, if you want a coffee chat, we can do it.
Yeah,
Usually, I
of course.
just send them the candidly because I know how it feels to reach out to people and not have them reach back. So if
Yeah.
you are bold enough to reach out to me, you get 15 minutes, you know? But one of the young ladies that I met with was like, oh, you can use your podcast to get a job. And I was just like, that wasn't the purpose of the podcast to get a job. And she was like, it's so creative. It makes you stand out. But in my mind, I consider that almost doing tricks. And that made me something different than somebody born in a different time. But like, it's almost like you got to do a little bit extra to say, hey, look at me.
Definitely.
I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just, we were talking about monetizing because you definitely need a stream of income. Just curious as to how you've been trying to just navigate these new and dark uncharted waters.
Yes. So honestly, I've I put out my first job app like end of July.
Okay.
So I I was let go May. I took about a month and a half, 2 months off to reflect, kind of figure out what I want to do. And then end of July, start of August, I started applying. I've had this framework that I've tried my best to stay to.
Okay, let me hear the framework because I'm open to learn as well.
At this point, it's getting very challenging to stay on it.
Okay.
But at first, when I first started, I guess maybe for the first two months or so, so August through September, I would only apply to jobs after I've spoken to 1 to 2 people who actually work at the company.
Okay.
So that I can understand the culture, understand the market, understand the competitive advantages and value props that the company has and what I'll be selling because I'm in sales. And I would do that, and then I would be like, all right, if I feel like it's a decent fit, then I would apply. Now, that was all I was doing for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Realize that also takes so much time.
It does.
And speed is sometimes more important than
the
some
relationship.
of the other things these days.
I can understand that.
So that was that was my first thought, right? I want to be very intentional. I'm trying to be intentional. I want to be deliberate, intentional. I want to do research on each company, talk to people before I even like send out an application. That went all right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I've gotten probably half of the applications that I've sent in have been referrals. I can count on 2 hands how many phone interviews I've had. And that's like out of like 60 or 70 applications.
Yes.
And I know my resume is good.
Right.
And I know it. And I know I have good experience.
Got it. Yeah.
So like after seeing that, I'm like, all right, I gotta change some things up because that's what the approach that I wanted to go because I felt like my resume is good. I have the experience. I worked at LinkedIn. I worked at Pandora. I worked at BT. I worked at these.
You have recognizable names. Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'll be okay. Like I'll take a break, and then I'll start. And the way I'll do it is, I have a framework. I'm talking to people first, getting their referral, applying, and going from there. After only getting like 2 or 3 phone screens with like 30 referrals, I was like, all right.
No, you're not wrong.
Something is going on.
Yes. I can't pinpoint it either. Dare I say, it feels good to not be in that boat alone.
Yeah.
I started doing like outreaches where I would reach out to people on LinkedIn and have like coffee chats, which is why I have so much grace for people that reach out to me.
Yeah.
I would say the interviews that I've had have come from, like if I had a relationship with a recruiter and they knew the hiring manager and they felt like it was a good fit, they were able to put my resume in front of them, and that was able to produce at least a screening or at least a conversation.
Yeah.
now I've been to several like career fairs.
Hmm.
I do like daily outreaches just to see who would meet with me.
Yep.
I've had people meet with me, but I've also learned that there are a lot of companies on hiring freezes right now. So there is so much going on, but this is not my first rodeo. This is yours.
Yeah.
How has this? What has this layoff done for your like confidence, and how do you keep yourself built up? Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, your passion is to build. You're
Yep.
building community programming. You're building professional programming, as we discussed, and you still have to move forward, but you
Hmm.
still need to keep almost your soul intact to
Yeah.
continue to show up in that way. So, like, what has that done for your confidence, and how do you continue to keep yourself built up during this time?
Yeah. I think that so it's impossible for confidence not to wane, right?
Yeah,
I think even the most solid, assertive, self-assured people um, will kind of go through these ebbs and flows when you're getting so many rejections.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
but I do think that something that has really kept me is just the mantra that I'm sure we've all heard of: "What's for me will never miss me," um, and things happen in the correct time, the
yeah.
appropriate time. So I've had a few final round interviews that I went into it feeling confident. I feel like I did pretty well, and then I didn't get them.
Hmm.
And of course, my heart is beating fast as hell. I'm pressed. I'm waiting for this email to just tell me yes, and then you get the no, and you're like, "Dang, what did I do wrong? Right?
Yeah,
What could I have done better? What do I need? Where do I need to improve?" And I've tried to continuously tell myself that if that didn't work out, then it's protecting me, and that just means that I need to practice more. I need to
hmm,
just sharpen in these places. I've never had an interview where I don't come out of it and think that there were things that I could have done better.
okay,
And even if there weren't,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
I feel like being so hard on myself
yeah.
is probably good in this place because I do know that I can always improve and I want to continuously sharpen my skills.
Yeah.
Now I know there's a flip side to that, right? Where
Yes.
the flip side to that is being extremely too
Critical.
critical.
Hmm.
Um, and some of the ways that I've kind of balanced it is, again, if it really is meant for me, even if I go into this interview and my brain tells me afterwards, you could have done this better,
Hmm.
they will see they will see it, right? The
Hmm.
interviewers, the company, whoever I'm talking to, they'll still see it and say, he still did extremely well enough for us to take a bet on him.
Yeah.
And even if that hasn't happened yet, I'm I'm really firm in my belief that it will, and that when it does happen, it's going to be the right fit.
No, I believe that for you. I realized through my personal journey, it's interesting how you say you would interview and then you'll look back like, what could I have changed?
Hmm.
I found that to be extremely unhealthy
Mm.
to to my person,
Yeah.
to me as a person. Especially if something that it's not going to change the outcome, right?
Hmm.
So I always try to show up better
Yeah.
next time, unless I have some direct feedback that I can use, and very rarely
And
they don't provide
and
that.
never. I'm like,
Yeah. So unless I
give me
have something
some.
tangible, all I can do is just try my best to show up better,
Hmm.
because if anything, what I believe we share, you know yourself
Yeah.
and you know your best self.
Yep.
And you also know when you're not on your game. So
Hmm.
I take that in consideration. But if this will help you at all, I've tried my best not to be attached to the outcome.
Hmm.
And as someone like me that's an overthinker, and I'm project managers. Project managers always think about like the end goal or
Yeah.
big picture people. During this time of my life, not being attached to the outcome has been the healthiest thing I have ever done for myself. Even in having this podcast, like not being attached to
The
listeners
engagement
and
and the
engagement.
likes.
I am
Yeah.
not obsessed with it. I feel like I've created a platform for people like you to share your stories,
Yeah.
just so other people that are going through in life can understand, like, life is not just happening to you. Like,
Yes.
grief, death, loss happens to us all. And just to show that, I feel like you even sitting here is a testimony in itself. You being able to show up and even talk about it and keep it together, because I'm gonna let you know I probably would have been on the ground and you had to put the little prayer cloth on me, like, we'll be back after these messages. Right. So I mean, I just want to give you your flowers in the sense
Thank
that
you.
you the job market is crazy. You've been able to navigate this. Like, you're here, and sometimes you just gotta rest in the fact that you're still here.
Yeah.
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 I mean, you're open to give your feedback about that. Like, is that enough sometimes for you? Like, man, I'm still here.
Um. So I'm also an overthinker.
Okay.
And like I feel like being here is enough a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But again, I'm human, so I'm always thinking about can I? What if? Should I? So those creep into my mind, but like you said, I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah.
Right? So I've I've really been trying to focus on that aspect and being grateful and having gratitude that I am still here. I am, although I am on a vacation from the workforce.
Yeah.
I'm still able to have a roof over my head. I'm still able to do things that I need to do. So I don't really have I don't have room. I don't or justification to feel sorry for myself or to say woe is me in a pity party because I still got it. I got it so good,
Yeah.
And
What's sustaining you during this time?
you mean by like money?
Yeah.
Well, I got a severance package.
Yeah,
So
me too. Yes, me too.
yeah, so
Because people asked me that before. I was like, they didn't just put me out.
yeah. Again, grateful. I
Grateful,
am
grateful,
grateful
and
because
gratitude.
I know other people who weren't that fortunate,
Yes.
or I was hit with the mass reduction, so they are a little bit more lenient, and they give you a little bit more grace with the severance packages when you are hit with company wide layoff
Yeah,
versus
likewise.
a 1-to-1 or a isolated event. So again, the severance, and then I have like little odd jobs here and there.
Yeah,
So
I've done some independent consulting. People do, when you say that you're laid off, they look at you and wondering like what you're doing.
yeah,
And look, it's the grace and mercy of God. Let me say,
man, facts. 'Cause
grace and mercy of God, because you're right. When a company overall is going through a reorg or some type of transition that is out of your control, they tend to be a little bit generous,
a little more generous,
a little bit, just a little
yeah.
bit. But we've unpacked a lot, Hasani, and we have unpacked so much. I do like to end just on a positive note, because I feel like even all of the things that you've been through, like I feel good energy coming off of you.
Thanks.
And I want you to give some of that to someone else, because there are other people navigating a layoff just like us. It seems to be continuous and more to come. The government people were on furlough for a very long time. And then even in the midst of having a layoff, you show that life still happens to you. Like, that does not stop. So
Yeah.
could you give like our listeners a word of encouragement that you wish somebody may have told you? that may have
Mm,
helped you during your time?
that's a good one. I don't know why I didn't prepare for this. Um, I would, I would root, I'll root it in. So you are not your job, and your identity and who you are, your values, your worth doesn't come from where you work. I feel like a lot of people have reached out to me and was so surprised because I was like Mr. LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
because I'm doing all these things, uh, and for a minute I found myself thinking about, okay, so if I don't work at LinkedIn, do people still value know who I am
Yeah.
or what I am bringing to the events or the programming, and like the your core and your essence is totally separate from who's paying you and who in this corporate world maybe give you money for your talents and time.
Hmm.
So I think separating the two is very, very hard. And so many of us, one of our first questions we have or we are faced with when we meet a new person, what do you do?
What do you do? Yeah.
Where do you work?
Hmm.
Right? And it makes us feel like we need to put on and we
Hmm.
have to have something strong and this amazing company and these these accolades to be of worth or be worth speaking to or engaging with.
Yeah.
And I just want folks to understand and hopefully and really internalize that they are not their profession, and that no something better will come.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's cliche.
It is
It's
so cliche,
super
but it's
cliche,
true though.
but yeah, especially if you continue to do the work. I feel so like grateful
Hmm.
to be in a place where you know I have the safety net to be unemployed for this long, um, and I don't try to take it for granted. So just huge shout out and hope for the best for those folks who may not be in the fortunate place, as fortunate of a place that I am.
Hmm.
Um, and I hope that they can find something soon. I hope they find something that's fulfilling,
Yeah.
that is more than just a paycheck, that is actually going to help them feel fulfilled. And I'm wishing that for you, and I'm wishing that for myself, and
Yeah.
I'm manifesting that for so many people who this job market is ridiculous. It's very, very challenging. It's tough. It doesn't seem fair, but um, there's beauty in the struggle,
Hmm.
and there is something on the other side that we're gonna get to. You know?
Yeah. I believe that. Hassani, I want to thank you so much for joining me on Crossroads and Callings and just your vulnerability and your bravery. I think, if anything, I want the listeners to take away from your journey is that healing and having a comeback story it's not a destination, it's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been very honest that you're still going through yours,
Yeah.
and in many ways, in more than one way. But yes, you can still be on your journey, and you can still be positive,
Mm.
and you can identify where you need to heal, and you could be growing and evolving, and you can still be better.
Yeah.
um, you can be you can still be going through your process and still show up.
Yeah.
And I love that for you, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of this, because I see great things, people that look outside of themselves, right? And want to invest in people. You are a community builder. That is your purpose. That is your calling. And knowing that there's no way you can invest in others to that magnitude and that not come back to you. That's just not the way the world works, right?
We hope not.
It's not even science. For people that don't have a foundation rooted in faith, like whatever you put in, if you put something in the ground, even if it's a seed, it has to spring forth. That's just how it works, the nature of things. So I'm excited to see what's next for you, and thank you so much. For our listeners that have listened to Hasani's story, if anything spoke to you, show him some love on Instagram, Substack, YouTube channel. Send him a kind word.
Yes.
You can find him on LinkedIn, or where else can they find you, or any of the work that you have coming? Instagram, like what is your handle?
Yeah, so my handle is my name. So it's Hasani Henderson. Hasani, like Dasani water, but with an H.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's the same thing on all the social media platforms. On LinkedIn, this is Hasani Henderson. And then Shy Black Tech Leaders.
Yes.
Is Chicago Black Tech Leaders on Instagram, and all the good things.
The good things to come. Look out for that programming. I know it's coming. I know it's brewing. I can feel it. So 2026 is your year, definitely. And lastly, I want to thank the National Public Housing Museum. As always, they are an incredible partner. I'm grateful for the ability to utilize their facility. And if you happen to be in the Chicagoland area, they would be so happy to host you. And on that note, I encourage you to use your Crossroads to find your highest purpose and calling.